Hey everyone, it's Commander Savannah. I'm back with Fallout New Vegas. This is now part 20. So we're going to talk to Colonel Shu now and just start getting another slew of quests to do here. So let's just get right to it.
I'm usually good with faces, but I don't think I've seen you here before. What brings you to Camp McCarran?
Oh wow, we've got a bit. Before we offer help, let's go ahead and exhaust all the options. What challenges does the NCR face here?
Everything was going according to President Campbell's plan at first. We met minor resistance from local troublemakers. But our two main objectives are still contested. Mr. House controls the Strip and he won't so much as meet with our ambassador. And we're holding Hoover Dam. But Caesar's Legion is positioning itself to overrun it. If it falls, so will New Vegas. We'd be forced to withdraw.
I mean, cool and collected is the way to be. You seem calm given that things are as bad as they are.
Calm is what you have to be when people look to you. And it's all you can be when things are out of your hands.
True. Are things mostly quiet between here and the dam?
Unfortunately, no. In fact, the word from the ranger stations has been especially concerning lately. Sounds like they've run into overwhelming resistance, and supplies just aren't reaching them. It's been so bad, I asked Sergeant Reyes at Camp Forlorn Hope to look into it, and see how it is that things could be so fouled up there.
We're working on that. That's my fault. I'm literally at the end of that quest. What's Camp McCarran's role in NCR operations?
It's our main base. We took it because it lets us keep an eye on the Strip, and it had already been fortified before the Great War. From here, we handle most of the logistics for our operations in Nevada. Troop allocation, supply distribution, intel. Usually General Oliver runs the show here, but he's on his way to the dam now, so I've taken on a lot of his duties here.
Okay. How are things going for the NCR around here? Camp Forlorn Hope wasn't doing good. I wonder if... I'm sure they've got troubles, but is it as bad as it is over there?
Could be better, I'll say that much. We set up here with our sights set on annexing New Vegas. It's a lot of resources that could do a lot of good for us. But that hasn't happened. If anything, they annexed us. They rake in the profits from our soldiers, and we're stuck protecting them from the Legion. Not exactly the plan.
Where does that leave you?
Now we're trying to secure the Strip and the dam at the same time, and it's costing us. And in the meantime, General Oliver won't approve any offensive maneuvers, because he doesn't want to risk losing our positions. So we're in a holding pattern here. And Caesar's on the other side of the river, planning.
Don't worry, baby. I'm already starting to make some moves. It's gonna be okay. Alright. I'm here to provide support. Is there anything I might be able to help with?
You don't cook by any chance, do you?
I love
Farber's
cooking.
doing his best, but it's hard to manage an army with half my staff in line for the latrine. Honestly, we're fighting a lot of fires right now. The fiends keep pressing their position from Vault 3. We've got the Legion breathing down our necks across the river. We actually took an officer alive last week, but so far he hasn't spoken a word.
That is 3 quests right there. Let's get more intel. The fiends?
As in chem fiends. Biggest gang of raiders I've ever seen. Nothing like addiction to swell your numbers. Psychotic and completely unpredictable. They set up shop in Vault 3 to the west. Every day they attack our positions and my men repel them. But every day there's more of them and less of us. I sent one of my rangers after their leader to try and destabilize them. He didn't return. Hell of a thing, losing a ranger. You come to depend on them, and they come through for you so often, you forget it can happen.
I'll go to Vault 3 and see if I can find your ranger.
That vault is a hornet's nest. If you have second thoughts, no one would think less of you for it. But if you can get him home, it'd mean a lot. Watch for civilians, too. The fiends have been kidnapping locals. They just walk right into people's homes in the middle of the day and take them. But the man you're looking for is Bryce Anders. Anders was trying to find the leader, Motor Runner. You hear something like a chainsaw? You've found Motor Runner. Put a bullet in his head, and you'll have some new friends around here.
I bet I could make the Legion prisoner talk.
I have Lieutenant Boyd on that already, and she's excellent. But I think she's hit a wall. Talk to her if you like. See if she has any use for you. Her office is right above mine, but I think she might be interrogating right now. So she'd be upstairs on the other side of the building.
That's great, but she's not me, so I'll make sure it gets taken care of. Okay, so the cooking, Vault 3, and the Legion prisoner. Any other problems?
Yeah. On top of everything else, I can't send a patrol on a bathroom break without it being ambushed by someone who heard they were coming. So somebody's getting the word out.
I could look into who's leaking NCR intelligence.
Well, why not? Given your recent arrival, at least I can safely rule you out as the leak. I'd like to have absolute trust in my men, but that's just not practical right now. Go ahead and look into it. See what you find. We don't have much to go on right now. Lately, every raiding party in New Vegas seems to have a map of our troop movements. It derails everything. Supplies, reinforcements, and it'll only get worse the longer we let it go on. Captain Curtis is heading up the investigation right now. He can fill you in.
So that's definitely either a traitor or someone already infiltrated. Alright,
Bye.
bye. So, although I do have a concern, which would make sense, do we have to have a certain survival skill to do well with the cooking? I made a frittata yesterday, so I put spinach, Canadian bacon, and mushrooms in it, portobello mushrooms. I had to dice them up really well because I made it for my niece, and then I added Colby Jack cheese. I didn't tell her there were mushrooms in it, and so I made it for her. And she goes, "What's the green stuff?" And I was like, "It's spinach." I'm trying to get her to expand her palate. Which I may have mentioned this previously. I just love cooking and baking, so yeah. It's just fun to talk about. Oh. Goodness. Forget how big this place is. Which makes sense, you know, but.
Morning.
Good morning. That was very friendly. Okay. Hello.
Boyd's in there with a prisoner right now. Boy, is she pissed.
Okay, so I want to do a couple things first before we do that one. So, okay, that's not what we want. Where is... Are they down... Is he downstairs, our chef? Is this out, or...
What is it?
Oh, well, I need to talk to you anyway.
Nice
so
to
hello.
meet you. I'm Curtis.
Colonel Shu wanted me to help you look into the recent intelligence leaks.
Smart man. I could use somebody who can operate under the radar around here. Whoever our mole is, he's been slippery. Whenever one of the MPs gets too close, he changes his habits. Our last lead went cold weeks ago.
Where should I start?
You want my advice? Start by talking to people with a lot of eyes in the field. People like Lieutenant Boyd, or Sergeant Contreras, maybe. Careful with Contreras, though. He's not above suspicion himself. Keep me apprised of any leads you get. This guy's gotten a lot of my men killed. I'm just itching to return the favor.
What do you do
Officially,
here?
I'm in charge of Bravo Company. But since General Oliver has Bravo and most of our forces here garrisoned, I'm free to do other things. So I work with Colonel Shu on logistics, patrols, supply lines, reinforcements, that sort of thing. Lately, it's been less about that, and more about figuring out how that information is getting leaked to raiders. It's a big base with a lot of unhappy soldiers. They get stir-crazy. Hard to separate the malcontents from the actual culprit. Later.
Okay, so I guess to get Boyd's help, we'll have to do the interrogation anyway. Oh, got it. Okay, those are just restrooms. Where? That's gonna bother me. I want to help cook. I cannot. I might have to look up. I literally think it's something minor. I think maybe we just fetch ingredients.
Morning.
Oh, hi.
A little busy at the moment, but I can talk.
Well, I appreciate it. What is this place?
This? The OSI lab. We don't get many visitors. The smell puts people off, I think. Nobody ever said science would smell clean and fresh. Anyway, you get used to it if you give it some time.
I feel as if that's obvious. Are you a scientist?
I know I don't sound the part. Get raised by Brahmin ranchers and you never lose the twang. Drives Hildern crazy. But I know every inch of the power grid from Hoover Dam to Shady Sands. That's what we do here. Try to optimize the power output from the dam. Some of the others are working on an agricultural project, but truth be told, they aren't making much progress. Not yet, anyway.
What's your role here?
Head researcher. Mostly on the dam project, but I help out on other things when they need me. Gotta be flexible.
Need help with anything? Southern Belle to Southern Belle? I mean, I know they're all West, but I have resonation with her. Sometimes my accent slips out,
You
too.
mean give you work? No, that'd be up to the administrator, Hildern. He's back there in his office. Between you and me, I don't think he ever leaves. Plenty of mercs go in to see him, though.
Mercenaries. What for?
I can't say. We're not supposed to talk about the research. Not the details. If you're interested, I'm sure he'd see you. Nice to meet you. If you need anything, I'm almost always in the lab.
Morning.
You.
A pleasure to
Morning.
meet you. I'm Dr. Thomas Hildern, Director of Operations, OSI East. I presume you're here about Vault 22?
No, but now I have questions. I don't know. I wouldn't lie, truthfully. I guess I want to say that, but how does he respond if he realizes he just kind of let that slip out? No, this is the first time I've heard about Vault 22. These are the green folks, right?
No, they wouldn't have briefed you, would they? Probably
Well,
better that our junior fellows stay within the bounds of their pay grade anyway. Vault 22. Where to begin?
Okay. I'm listening.
Imagine, if you will, the wasteland in bloom. Vast fields of corn that grow from seeds and produce their bounty in the space of a month. Orchards of trees, their branches weighed halfway to the ground, hung with fat, ripe oranges, a harvest that could feed a city or a nation. And all this, requiring no more than a few drops of precious water, and the efforts of only a handful of human farmers. Impossible?
I don't want to say nothing is impossible, because I do feel like there are some things that are impossible, but with how he's talking, he must have a solution. Nothing is impossible.
Precisely. Science has proven that truth 1,000 times over. But how many wasteland savages believe it? Present company accepted, of course. The bounty I described to you is no idle fantasy. It exists in primitive form only a few miles from where we stand. We need only reach out and unlock its secret. For that, the OSI needs you.
Tell me more.
Good. I thought I sensed the kindred soul in you, beneath the wasteland veneer. I believe that the
Thank
inhabitants
you.
of Vault 22 unlock the secrets of vegetative growth. Plants are spilling from their gate. No one tends them. No one waters them. Yet they multiply and spread in all directions. Find the reason for this miraculous growth, and I promise you the OSI will see that you are generously compensated.
All right, I'll do
Good.
it.
No need to check in with the NCR authorities. I can authorize your payment from OSI accounts. Vaults typically contain a server room on a lower level, where they would have backed up their research data. A computer room, you understand? Download all the information on the central server to your Pip-Boy, and you'll be certain to bring me any notes or samples that you find, won't you?
Anything else I should
I
know?
thought it was a fairly straightforward assignment. It's a simple question of retrieving the data, which shouldn't prove overly challenging. Downloading the data will be handled by your Pip-Boy. You might think of yourself as a mere means of conveyance. No insult intended, of course.
But if it's so simple, then... I had some other questions.
Oh? What might those be?
What do you think of NCR's chances against the Legion?
To be frank, I have no idea. I leave the fighting to Colonel Shu, and I expect him to leave the science to me. Too many people have opinions on things they know nothing about. And the more ignorant they are, the more opinions they have.
Okay. Tell me more about the OSI.
The Office of Science and Industry. It's a rather expansive topic. I could talk for hours, but I'm sure I'd bore you. Suffice to say, we are the leading edge of the NCR. Our work focuses on practical matters: medicine, engineering, biology. The dam, for instance. OSI routes its energy supply to our cities in the West. That's only one responsibility of this office.
Do you control the dam from here?
Directly? No. But we attempt to maximize its output. You have no idea how difficult it is to provide power to an entire nation. Fortunately, we also have the Helios 1 facility. One of our external contractors recently got the station up and running. His name was something like Exceptional or Marvelous or...
Fantastic! No, that was me. I fixed Helios 1.
I see. Of course you did.
You don't even care. You little kumquat. You said you were the director of OSI?
Director of the entire OSI? Me? If I didn't know better, I'd say you were trying to plant seditious ideas in my head. No, I direct our eastern operations. I've been responsible for squeezing unprecedented levels of power from the dam. I'm also confronting the problem of food production in what little spare time I have, but I've found some promising leads.
NCR has a food shortage?
Not yet, but our government understands the value of proactive thought. Our studies project an imbalance between production and consumption. Or, for a layman such as yourself, not enough food, too many mouths to feed. Mass starvation in a decade or so.
You're researching all these problems yourself?
Yes, with the assistance of my team, of course.
What other responsibilities does this office have?
We aid some programs the Republic has sponsored involving sharecropper farms in the area. But those haven't panned out too well from what I hear. There have been complaints about the amount of water we're supplying. But those are just excuses for lack of diligence, I'm sure.
Goodbye.
Yes, goodbye.
Is she gonna warn us?
Did Dr. Hildern... This really isn't any of my business, but did he give you a job?
Why so interested?
Not interested. More concerned. It's just... You're not the first person he sent to Vault 22. And I know he'd never tell you. There were a lot of mercs. One after another. None of them came back. Then about a week ago, there was a scientist, Keeley. She's unusual. Not the sort of person you'd expect. But she's an absolute genius, and he didn't mention her? Not even her name? Or any of the other mercs?
Maybe Hildern and I need to have another talk.
No, wait. I don't mean to see any harm come to Dr. Hildern. Unless by talk, you just mean talk. Listen,
Talk.
I make a fair wage, but I'm not rich. Not by any means. Maybe my kind of money wouldn't appeal to your average merc. But I'm willing to pay you if you'll find Keeley and make sure she's safe. Isn't right leaving her out there. No idea if she's alive or dead.
All right, I'll look for her. She seems so worried.
I had a good feeling about you. Moment you walked in. I mean it. Of course. Anything.
Is she gonna... Okay. Can you tell me anything else about Keely?
Keely's brilliant, an absolute genius. She plays at being mean, but it's all a front. When you've lived as long as she has, you get defensive around new people. Who wants to make a friend when you know you'll outlive them?
It sounds more like a crush. Exactly how old is Keely?
I couldn't get her to say, but she talked about the war, the Great War, when the bombs fell, like she'd been there. So I'm guessing pretty old. 200 years? Maybe more.
How do Keely and Hildern get along?
Like a Brahmin and a Deathclaw, though I'm not sure which would be which. Bad analogy, maybe. They're both Deathclaws in their way. Keely hates Hildern. She says he's more politician than scientist, and gets in the way of true discovery. And Hildern hates Keely because, well, because every time they meet, she makes him look like an ass. In front of important people, usually.
I hear the food around here is pretty bad.
It's foul, to tell the truth. Most people try to get what they can from the outside, even if it's just a smuggled candy bar now and then. Contreras is a genius. He can find almost anything you'd want. Takes Caps to get him motivated, though. He won't do a thing for free.
I feel like we'll just do it all. What's your
Good
role
researcher.
here? Okay, see, I thought we... And did we ask her about... I'm sorry, I can't remember. I know we just talked to her, but... What do you think of Dr.
The
Hildern?
director? He's very well spoken and knowledgeable.
And? He seemed focused on results. Maybe not so much on people.
He's not what you'd call warm, unless he wants something from you. And even then, it's kind of a cold warm. Most of the time, I focus on the science and try to forget him. He doesn't get mixed up in any actual work, though he tells people that he does.
So, Dr. Hildern takes credit for your work.
He sure does. Everyone knows it. I've just got to endure this job until the project is finished. But abandoning Keely, he crossed a line. Taking credit for other people's work is one thing. Sending people to die in the waste is another. If Hildern tries to recruit any more mercs, I'm gonna warn them. What can he do to me? I'm the only one who can run this lab.
You go, girl. Hildern mentioned the followers of the Apocalypse.
My father used to say good things about them, but that was years ago. Back when they teach farmers and ranchers about crop rotation and the like. Nowadays, they've changed. They're doing what they can to discredit the NCR. Give us a bad name with the locals. Dr. Hildern trained with them years ago. Not me, though. I'm an OSI girl. Right.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Aw, Angela's sweet, and she's really worried about Keely. Boone, you scared me, dude. Hildern. Oh, wow, you stood up for
Yes?
this.
Something else you needed?
I'm not the first person you've sent to Vault 22, am I?
I never said you were. You've been speaking to Williams, haven't you?
Oh, wait, I'm so interested in how this goes. I'm the one asking the questions, Dr. Hildern.
Fair enough. Begging your pardon, but this is beginning to feel like an interrogation. No, you aren't the first person I've sent to the vault. I'm sorry that I neglected to tell you, but I don't see how it makes any difference.
Except for the fact that they never returned. How many others have you sent to the
I'd have to
vault?
consult my records. 8? 10? Your point is what?
It doesn't trouble you that you sent 8 or 10 people to their deaths?
I have no evidence that they're dead. 1,000 things could have happened between here and the vault. They could have changed their minds and walked away. I wouldn't be much of a scientist if I leapt to conclusions without proof.
That's a lot to not return, though. Oh. Alright. I want double the caps, or I spread the word that you're full of shit.
All right. I'll admit that it's been difficult to find anyone willing to enter the vault. And I'd rather get the data sooner than later. You have a deal. I'll double your reward if you bring me the data. But this is as high as my budget will allow. Now, I know your time is valuable, so I won't waste any more of it. Feel free to show yourself out.
Whatever. I'll do it for Keeley and the Caps. Well, also for the blatant reason of why you should do it anyway. But I'm sassy because Hildren is just a... Gah! It's so green. Look at it! So vibrant. Stay out, the plants kill. Beryl is boss? This must have been Keeley's. I've established a temporary camp inside the entrance of the vault. Power inside is minimal, but still running, and I've managed to hack into one of their security terminals. The logs show that several people have entered the vault over the past few months, but none have left. It's getting late, so I'll resume the expedition in the morning. Keeley out. The growth in the interior matches the exterior to a T. It's a little surprising, given the scarcity of sunlight in the entrance room, but even more surprising is that they seem to originate from further below. Maybe that fool Hildren was onto something after all. Since my Pip-Boy is on the fritz, I'll try to keep a running log of my discoveries in whatever computers I can find and collate the data before leaving. Well, she only had 2 entries. Keeley. I'll loot that later. I'm trying to remember when they pop up first, because, oh, they scare me. In fact, I just have my... It doesn't look like one's there. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, if I can level up, I can definitely repair that. So at that point... Ugh. I guess there's none in here. Does it feel like there's whispering to them? Oh! Okay. This level seems to have been devoted to the study of atmospheric effects on plants, with a concentration on producing plants with a high oxygen yield. Given the problems these vaults were known to have, it sounds like a reasonable avenue of research. How scientific. It's strange, but some sections of the machinery down here appear to have been modified for some unknown purpose. The restraints regarding oxygen content and systematic pressure have been bypassed. Oh, thank you. I know I heard something through my headset. I've been hearing a strange chittering sound for some time now, and finally discovered its source. There's some kind of giant mantises that had taken up residence in the vault. I almost ran smack into one the other day, but the creatures don't appear to react to my presence at all. Perhaps the others sent here ran afoul of the creatures, but I can't see how a few scattered insects could pose much of a problem to experienced mercs. Which means there must have been something else that caused a problem, Keeley. You know, I don't even know if it'll let me log on if they're... Okay. Noise complaint. Oh, okay. Could maintenance look into the ductwork here on level 2 again? I know you guys took a look at this last week, but I swear the noise is back. I even have other people that can back me up on it this time too. Okay, so is there... I can't remember if there was a purpose for those rooms. It's the same, so... Okay, that was the dead end there. Is that where I came from? And then the elevator. Okay, downstairs. Not yet. Boone. Boone, they're definitely here. They're definitely here. Wait. You see that, right? It's moving. So you can't lock onto them. Ooh, you're sneaky. Maybe it was already dead. Oh my god, you were not dead! It was moving. I didn't make sense there. I'm sorry. Oh, you're creepy. Okay, sorry. I was gonna start exploring again, but I just realized how long this part is, so we're gonna end this part here, and in the next part, we're gonna continue exploring Vault 22. Hopefully, I can kind of just run through this, because this does creep me out, as do most vaults. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day, night, evening, what have you, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys!